Everyone, welcome to the FLAME University. It is such a pleasure to welcome you all to this National Research Symposium on Rethinking Educational Transformation, Systems Change for a Better Future. I know it's a very lengthy name, but welcome all of you, co-hosted by the wonderful FLAME University and Leadership for Equity. I always say this to my team that perhaps I am the least qualified person in the team to be speaking about research in the organization. But I think having spent close to 15 years in education right now, I strongly feel the need to stay relevant. So, in the spirit of FOMO, the fear of missing out, here I'm actually welcoming all of you to this wonderful sort of symposium. But jokes aside, I'm so happy to see all of you who've traveled far to be with us today. I think we have, I mean, not just in India, but I think we have people coming from the US as well. So, all the expert speakers and attendees here representing 30 plus organizations and universities across the country. We are privileged to be hosting all of you, and we look forward to hearing all that you have to contribute to the wonderful sort of topics that we're going to discuss in the next 2 days. In a way, it's also surreal to be hosting this conference at FLAME University because I think my journey in education from the corporate sector started here at FLAME back in 2009 when I joined the Teach for India fellowship cohort in my first year. So I think this conference is like one of those full circle moments. So it's a good sort of a personal, definitely a personal moment to cherish. Um, Personally, having been fortunate to be a part of multiple networks like Ashoka and Acumen, we at LFE have always been passionate about thinking what works at scale when it comes to delivering quality education in India. Universalization of quality primary education seems to be one of the key sort of things that all of us are passionate towards, are struggling, and also are trying to sort of learn every day from our work. So I think this whole idea of really systems change approach and what does it take to universalize quality education for children in India uh, has always been at the forefront of our work right from day one. And of course, it's not been easy. There's been a lot of challenges that we're doing, but I think our slightly different perspective of saying that we're going to nudge the system, work across different levels of hierarchy to be able to build the capacity of the system to deliver quality education has seemingly been our sort of approach. And to do this, on the way, we learned a lot of these things, right? I think there were a lot of learnings that are coming from the ground, a lot of learnings coming from the stakeholders that we are working with, from the government bodies that we are working with. But the real challenge become how do you sort of disseminate, how do you sort of first capture these learnings, how do you then sort of disseminate these learnings in a more research sort of a way. So I think that has always been a challenge. And I mean, we started off very small with UN Foundation. I want to take the name of Geeta Rao Gupta, who's now the sort of ambassador at large for women issues in the US government. She was heading UN Foundation, a program called 3D Women for Girls and Girls and Women. I think she was the one who really trusted the young team back in 2017 when LFE was just a 15, 20 member team to say that we're going to partner with you and do the research. And after that, it was Shamchi Foundation. And over the last sort of 4 years, I particularly want to call out Rati Forbes and the Forbes Marshall Foundation, who have trusted this work and said that research is a critical component for nonprofits, especially are working with like government education bodies. And now with partners like the Brookings Center for Universal Education and JPAL, it's been quite a significant journey even for LFE to really think about research being one of those pillars that drives the work that we're doing in India. All the organizations and people are gathered here, I'm sure somewhat feel that in order to sustain the excellent work done by nonprofits and the universities, in a small or a big way, the government systems need to accommodate and take it forward. But the complex work of how do you accommodate, how do you manage this accommodation within a complex government system and transition is what has been tricky. And I'm sure many individuals and organizations who are sitting right here have been trying this for many decades, not years, but decades. So we all have some learnings that we feel important to structure it and put a spotlight on the aspect of systemic change in education. And also consolidate what research is telling us about this. What are some lessons learned? What is the truth? And what is the hope for unlocking the power of systems change for ushering that level of universal transformation in education in a complex country like India? Higher education and the national education policy implementation has also been a slightly underexplored area, and our collaborators here, Flame University, has been spearheading this to spotlight these issues as well. While Flame champions the cause of multidisciplinary liberal education in India, structurally, the school education system, the pre-university are shackled by similar disciplinary boundaries and artificial sorting of learners. We are still stuck in that level of learning. And we are hoping that the discussions here today will spark some of those ideas on how do you solve these issues and take this into action. In keeping with this belief, the Flame University and Leadership Equity have partnered to conduct this research symposium by bringing together wonderful speakers, panelists, and also audience like all of you and practitioners from the field of education to facilitate this knowledge sharing around what our theory is talking about, what are some of the best practices, and what are the future steps using a systems approach lens. So, with that in mind, I welcome all of you once again. I think in this time of the world, or its time means everything for you to actually come here, spend a day or two with all of us. It means a lot. So, thank you all so much for coming here and sort of spending time with us in this beautiful campus and talking about this beautiful campus to mark the beginning of this symposium. And now invite Dr. Dishan Kamdar, Vice Chancellor of wonderful Flame University, to deliver the welcome note and commence the symposium. Thank you very much.